Sagittarius seem to live two lives at the same time? This is a question that never leaves the mind of anyone who has lived closely with someone of this sign, because there is something about Sagittarius that transcends the ordinary. At first glance, everything seems simple. Sagittarius is expansive, cheerful, full of energy, that friend who lights up any room and seems to always carry a natural glow. But just look a little closer, and you'll notice that behind this light and carefree appearance lies a surprising depth, as if inside every Sagittarian there were two worlds coexisting in parallel. One is visible, filled with enthusiasm, movement, laughter, and adventures. The other is invisible, made of silent questions, spiritual quests, existential restlessness, and an almost infinite desire to find meaning in life. It is precisely this contrast that makes it seem like Sagittarius is never living just one life, but two at the same time. When we look at the Sagittarian archetype in astrology, we begin to understand why this happens. Represented by the centaur, half man, half animal, Sagittarius carries within itself a duality that is already born in its symbol. One part is instinctive, wild, connected to life's pleasures, to freedom, adventure, and the urge to explore without limits. The other part is rational, philosophical, spiritual, always in search of answers, of expanding consciousness, of a greater meaning to existence. This image of the centaur is not just a detail. It is the key to understanding why Sagittarius often seems to live between two worlds, as if two paths were happening within them at once. Those who live with Sagittarius know this well. On the outside, they may seem carefree, playful, even reckless. They are the ones who laugh loudly, who accept last-minute trips, who turn heavy situations into light moments. But those who get the chance to see beyond the surface discover an almost unexpected depth. Sagittarius can be in the same day the life of the party and the solitary thinker, laughing with friends and, moments later, diving into reflections about the meaning of life. It's as if they carry within themselves two versions that switch without asking permission. The version that lives the present intensely and the version that searches for answers beyond immediate reach. This contrast creates a fascinating enigma, because while Sagittarius radiates joy and optimism, they are also capable of getting lost in internal crises that few can imagine. And don't be fooled. Behind the open smile, there is often a restless heart asking whether they are on the right path, whether what they're living truly has value, or whether they should set out in search of something greater. It is precisely this constant desire for expansion, for exploring the unknown, that fuels the feeling that Sagittarius is not content with living just one life. They want to live all possibilities, experience all adventures, dive into all truths. Perhaps that's why Sagittarius rarely stays still. They are always moving, changing, experimenting. Every experience seems to be only a springboard to the next. While other signs seek stability, Sagittarius seeks movement. While many cling to what they've already achieved, Sagittarius feels there is always so much more to be explored. And this is where that duplicity is born. While they live the present life intensely, they are already dreaming of the next one, planning the next trip, imagining the next project, philosophizing about the next meaning to be discovered. But there is one detail that few notice. This duplicity in Sagittarius is not just a desire to live many things at once, but an internal, almost visceral necessity. The Sagittarian feels they cannot be limited to a single version of themselves. They must experience different faces, different paths, different truths. And this often places them at a crossroads. On one side, the desire to live immediate pleasure, to have fun, to enjoy without thinking about tomorrow. On the other, the inner call to grow, learn, evolve, and seek something that transcends the material. This conflict creates the impression that Sagittarius lives two lives, the life of the free explorer and the life of the philosopher searching for the infinite. And this is a point that both enchants and challenges, because anyone in a relationship with Sagittarius must learn to deal with this duality. In one moment, they may be completely present, vibrating in the now, living intensely a passion, a project, or an adventure. In the next, they may withdraw, question everything, feel they need space to breathe and search for something greater. This alternation, which for many may look like instability, for Sagittarius is simply the natural expression of their essence. After all, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and abundance. And this means their soul is always in motion, always searching for more. For them, living only one dimension of existence is not enough. They want to explore both the physical world and the spiritual one, both material experiences and learnings that transcend the visible. That is why, even when they seem to be laughing without a care, deep down they are reflecting on profound questions about the meaning of life, the destiny of humanity, or the mystery of the universe. But this quest does not come with challenges. Many times Sagittarius feels divided, as if unable to choose between immediate pleasure and spiritual search, between the laughter of the party and the silence of reflection. This duplicity can create unrest because it never seems like enough. There is always something more to be lived, something more to be discovered. The Sagittarian lives in constant transit between two realities, the external, visible, expansive one, and the internal, silent, profound one. And perhaps this is exactly what makes it seem like they live two lives at once. Those who watch from the outside often don't understand. They see only the cheerful, adventurous, expansive side of Sagittarius and can't imagine the weight of the reflections they carry in silence. Others who know only their philosophical, profound side are surprised when they see them laughing, traveling, and living as if there were no tomorrow. The truth is, Sagittarius is both at the same time, without contradiction. They are the party and the silence, the laughter and the philosophy, the adventure and the reflection. And it is precisely this combination that makes them so fascinating. But here's the secret. It's not that Sagittarius lives two lives, it's that they refuse to live only one. The Sagittarian soul does not accept limitations. For them, life is an open field of possibilities, and every experience is only part of something greater. They know, even unconsciously, that every phase is an opportunity to be reborn, to reinvent themselves, to live a new version of who they are. That is why, even within a single life, they end up living many. This mystery is what makes them magnetic, because being close to Sagittarius is to feel that there is always something new to discover, that you can never fully know all their faces. They attract because they carry within themselves this eternal desire for expansion, this flame that never goes out, this restlessness that drives them to seek more, always more. It is impossible to remain indifferent before someone who lives with such intensity and who at the same time questions everything in silence. But living with Sagittarius requires preparation, because it is necessary to understand that they change, transform, reinvent themselves. What seems certain today may no longer make sense tomorrow. What fascinated them yesterday may be left behind when they discover something new. For some, this may seem like instability. For Sagittarius is simply life in motion. And trying to trap a Sagittarian into just one version of themselves is like trying to hold the wind in your hands. Impossible. And here is where I leave the great reflection. Does Sagittarius really live two lives, or do they simply allow themselves to live all the possibilities life has to offer? Perhaps the secret lies exactly in this. While many limit themselves to a single truth, Sagittarius opens up to all of them. And in this process, they end up living multiple versions of themselves, as if each phase were a rebirth, a new chance to explore, learn, and evolve. This mystery is what makes them magnetic, because being close to Sagittarius is to feel that there is always something new to discover, that you can never fully know all their faces. They attract because they carry within themselves this eternal desire for expansion, this flame that never goes out, this restlessness that drives them to seek more, always more. It is impossible to remain indifferent before someone who lives with such intensity and who, at the same time, questions everything in silence. But living with Sagittarius requires preparation, because it is necessary to understand that they change, transform, reinvent themselves. What seemed certain today may no longer make sense tomorrow. What fascinated them yesterday may be left behind when they discover something new. For some, this may seem like instability. For Sagittarius is simply life in motion. And trying to trap a Sagittarian into just one version of themselves is like trying to hold the wind in your hands. Impossible. And here is where I leave the great reflection.